Hey, bitch! It's time for the book club.
Warning, spoilers ahead.
Hello and welcome everybody back to another exciting Campfire Gaming Podcast Book Club. That is right, we're back with Shredder's Revenge for the month of July 2022. We had a lot of fun with this one, I think. I can't speak for everybody in this chat, but I know that myself and my spouse had a really good time with this one. How did you guys feel about it?
Well, first off, I love the energy. It's fantastic.
Woo!
But it is a book club episode, so I think it's well deserved. But yes, no, I loved this game. Was so much fun. I had so much fun playing it, except for one little aspect, but we'll get into that.
Right. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. It just came out this year. This is a pretty new one. When did it release? This
Just
was
last
released
month.
just last month. That's right. You can pick it up for $25 on Steam, or I'm sure you can get it other places if you're a console player, or Game Pass. I think that's the. Where did you guys play this game?
Xbox/Game Pass.
So you did on an Xbox with the Game Pass, right?
Correct.
What about you, Mike?
I played it upon the Xbox via Game Pass.
Cool. All right. Oh, man, I'm such a bad host. Where are my manners? My name is Rich, and I'm going to be your host through this week's episode, or this month's episode, I should say. We're now going on to the new format. We're focusing entirely on book clubs so that we can play all the good games and do all the cool things inside those good games without having to be bogged down by other episodes. Not like they were bogging us down, but it's more fun to focus on the stuff that we think is the coolest part of our podcast, which is the book club.
Exactly.
If you're new to the book club, what this is once a month we have somebody from either the community or ourselves to pick out a game that the entire podcast is going to play together. We encourage all of our listeners, all of our members of our Discord and such to participate with us as we play through the game throughout the month. And at the end of the month, just like a book club, we'll just talk about it. And that's kind of the whole purpose of this show now. All right. So, my name is Rich, and with me I've got, of course, Matt, my co-host of Long Time.
Podcast
And even,
long time.
and even longer Long Time. We got Mike. Welcome back, Mike.
Thanks.
Glad we could have you for a back-to-backer.
Back to back, actually.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you beat me to one. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. So all right. So let's kick this off. We're talking Shredder's Revenge this month. Let's just dive right in. One of the things I am going to comment on right away is kind of I don't know if it's a nitpick, but it's something that I was a little kind of hesitant about, and that is the price point. I think that the game, while really, really fun, is kind of short. There's a lot of like extra content that you can do outside of just playing through it the one time. I only played through it the one time.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like, you can knock this game out real fast.
Yeah, it took me and my young brother and his friend about 2.5 hours to beat on just like normal.
Yeah.
So it's not very long at all.
Right. It's basically like, so to kind of, I suppose I should probably describe the game that we're playing. It is a classic arcade style beat 'em up game. It's very much, very reminiscent of that old school Ninja Turtles arcade style game where it's just you side scroll, you mash a bunch of buttons to beat a bunch of dudes up that come on screen, you fight some bosses, you work your way through levels until you hit the end of the game. And it's very much like those arcade games, with the exception of having to put in coins. Like, you don't have to put in coins or tokens or anything like that to continue playing. So you just die a whole bunch of times. I don't know what happens if you lose all your lives, but
yeah, we were too good.
I never got. I mean,
I can tell you what happens.
What happens when you lose all your lives?
So I played through this game with a 7-year-old, and very occasionally he spent like most of the time as Michelangelo yelling "Party Dude." So it was very. It was like, so they ramp up. I'm pretty sure it ramps up a little bit more the more people you have in there. I didn't test this, but I've only played it multiplayer. I haven't played single player.
Mm-hmm.
So if you die, you just restart the level at like whatever checkpoint. It's really there's no like start the level over or anything like that. You just go again.
And that's if you lose all of your.
Yeah, we just got knocked out and we just started back. I'm 90% sure it was back at the checkpoint, but it could have been restart the level. Like you get kicked out of the level and start all over again.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm kind of curious how that handles on higher difficulties too, because
Mm-hmm.
that seemed like, yeah, the game is really, really short, and it's not really that hard. If you
No.
play like even on normal difficulty, I mean, you'll probably die a few times, but overall, it's really not that bad of a game. And then, yeah, like especially if you're playing with people, you're dying, and then they can pick you back up. So they have like a revive mechanic that you can do to completely avoid losing a life. So with that in play, it just kind of, the punishment for dying is not really there, so to speak, and you just kind
Yep.
of railroad your way through the game.
Well, it's kind of hard to do punishment for death in these games unless you're going to do something like your turtle is gone and you no longer get to play with that turtle until you beat the game or 2 levels or some sort of knockout system. Because like the original intent, like Turtles in Time, there was definitely punishment if you died, right? That's another
Mm-hmm.
25 cents that you got to pump into this machine. And TMNT Turtles in Time was super difficult. Shout out to Matt for beating that with me at the bar, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, so it's really hard, I think, in one of these games to push towards real punishment. It's just go back and do it again.
Sure. I mean, and I think that's the case for lives, though. But it felt like I never really died enough to even make it through all of my lives. And it sounds like when you do make it through, or if you do lose all of your lives, you don't even start back that far. Like you don't have to restart the level or anything. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
would expect, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if it's different. Did you guys play arcade mode at all or just story?
Just the story.
Story
I
mode.
wonder what it's like for arcade, like if that's where you get that difficulty where if like you lose both your
It was
turtles, then you go back and have to start like the entire thing over.
Yeah, it was when I clicked on it or hovered wherever it said that it described that mode, it was saying that like you have that set amount of lives and when they're gone, right? So it's not like story mode where you just get 3 lives each level and then, it's really hard to die, right?
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm. Right.
that's where you get that,
Kind of
the
the more
real true like original version of these games if that's what you were looking for.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So yeah, okay. So if you're going for that classic arcade feel, you go play the arcade mode.
Yep.
Seems
Just
to make
not
sense.
with your friends
Yeah.
if they're on different platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other gripe that I have is that, between game there's crossplay. You can play with people who are on Game Pass through Xbox and PC, but not if they bought it on Steam, as we ran into when we were trying to set up a game together.
Yeah. No, I was a little disappointed. Also, before we get too far in, unless I missed it, we did not shout out spoilers ahead. I know
Oh
there's really not anything crazy here in this game to spoil.
no,
Maybe
not a
some
lot.
little
But yes,
tidbits, but
thank
let's
you.
let's throw that out real quick. But yes, no, I was really looking forward to crossplay because you can have up to 6 people, and I think we would have had 6 people the other day when we were trying to play crossplay. But yeah, like that's my biggest complaint about it is like I really wanted that chaos. I really wanted to play with you guys, play through the story again with you guys.
Same.
And it just, yeah, for whatever reason, Steam to Xbox doesn't work. So that was
Or
unfortunate.
at least not that we could tell, right? I mean, like what we were running into was a bug, or at least it seemed like a bug, and it wasn't just a TMNT specific, like a game specific bug, because I've seen reports of the same bug happening for people who are playing like Forza, who are playing like Halo or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, who they get invited through because we were using the Xbox Party app or the
Yep.
Xbox app, and we were trying to coordinate everybody through that. And what ends up happening is that you get this bug where it sends you like a file link to, I'm guessing, what would normally be a party invite to their game to open up a session. But instead, what it does is it just sends you directly to the store to buy it off of the Microsoft store. So thanks a lot, Microsoft. You're just trying to get
Mm-hmm.
me to buy more stuff. But
Yeah. Which is really unfortunate that whether it's a bug or this is intentional, regardless, like the only crossplay that it supports currently is just Xbox to PCs. So you'd think they'd work a little bit hard to make sure that's actually functioning, since it's not like I can join with PlayStation or Nintendo or whatever. It's just this one route, Xbox to PC. But yeah, no, that was honestly probably my biggest complaint with the game, was just I was really looking forward to play with you guys, and
Mm-hmm.
I played one session with my siblings and their friend. There was four of us, and it was just complete chaos. So I was really looking forward to six people and what amount of insanity that would be.
Right, because I just played with one other person, and even we kind of lost ourselves in midst of the chaos, where we would lose track of what character we were on screen,
Hmm.
and then we would be like walking into a wall, but we really think that we're like fighting something.
Yeah.
We had that happen a couple of times, but yeah, doing that with like six people would be absolutely bonkers.
And just think how fast the bosses would die. Like,
Oh my god, yeah,
oh, with
insane.
with four people, they were going down pretty quick already. With six, I think it would be. Well, I mean, at that point, you'd probably want to put it up to higher difficulty. But yeah, it was. Yeah, would
Hmm.
be fun.
I
Um.
actually really liked a lot of the bosses in this game.
Oh, I did
I,
too.
I think they were all
Yes.
pretty well creative for the
Hmm.
most part on how you do it. Chrome Dome, I think, is the my favorite boss fight out of all of it, just because of the mechanic I learned when we were playing Matt,
Hmm.
on
Yep.
how to get him to stop punching you. But
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking
I
about
like
where you
that.
have to like blow up the barrel or whatever?
No, 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 no. So there's a way to do it better than that, right? So you did it the same way I did. You fight him, and then he sits at like he throws the goons down. You got to fight the Foot Clan, and then you got to blow up the barrels, and then he comes down and does that like jumping punch.
Yep.
Apparently, you're supposed to just grab the first guy that walks on screen and throw him at the screen. You throw him at the screen,
Oh,
it hits
sure.
him, and he comes down, doesn't even punch, and just like lands, and you just get to beat the heck out of him. So
Yep.
that
That's
fight was like
cool.
3 times longer because you have to wait for each of those barrel sets. Like it was an effective way. It got him to come down. So I immediately thought, well, that's what I got to do. I guess this is me now. Like just
Yeah.
waiting and punching barrels.
No,
Hmm.
I think the my favorite boss out of the game was the Statue of Tyranny. I thought
Yeah.
that was like I was laughing my ass off. I thought that
Oh
was so
yeah.
funny. It plays like that Star Spangled Banner when like the boss is like walking in, and I was just commenting about like how swole the Statue of Liberty got.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, look at them forearms. They've been doing some massive lifts. Look at
Hmm.
that. It was
No,
really
I mean,
funny.
shout out to there's 16 levels in this game, and each level had a boss, and it's
Yes.
to the point that it's been for forever since I've watched the cartoon. And when I was playing with my younger siblings who have watched it more recently than me, they're like seeing all these Easter eggs and pointing them out to me, someone who hasn't watched in probably 30 years, right?
Right.
And they're just like, oh, this person's in it. This is so cool. So it was really cool, just like knowing how much love that they put in this game. And again, yeah, it was so cool that each level ended with a boss fight, and they were all fun. The only one you guys picked your favorites. I'm gonna go out here and pick the one I hated the most, and that was Rat King. Mostly because every time I'd go and like actually get up to him, start beating the crap out of him, he'd jump back up on what was it, the car or the crap pile there, and whistle for his rats to come back in. It was just annoying, but
Mm.
yeah, the creativity of the bosses was fun and kept it fresh. It didn't like it's not like every I went into every level going, well, wonder what boss we're gonna have and what stupid mechanic they're gonna. It was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. Oh, this character's from here. That's awesome.
Right. Like even when they brought back Bebop and Rocksteady for
Hmm.
like they you fight them I think a couple of times. Like once
One
individually and then
separate. Yep. Yep.
yeah, and then you fight them when they're in the truck, which was actually really funny. And
Hmm.
then you fight them together. And even when you between fighting them separately and then fighting them together, still felt really different. So I gotta applaud them for that. That they did a really good job with even when they're recycling characters, it's still a really fresh feeling fight.
Yeah, it was fun too seeing like it wasn't all callbacks to the show. Like Razor and Toka were in there too from from the live action movies. That was
Yep,
pretty
from
fun
the
to see those.
ooze. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah,
So
when he throws like the ooze can down, I'm like, oh my god, I remember that shit.
hmm.
Oh man, it was so good.
It's
But
such
I
a rich area to be able to draw characters from. Like there is so many just
mm-hmm.
good like villains and little good guys, like all the little extra dudes that you could go and like hunt them down throughout the level.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I didn't really, and maybe it's because I haven't seen any of the show in the really really long time, but like that whole like dinosaur area, I don't remember that. Is
Yeah,
that
that
from
was
like the? Yeah. What is that?
I don't that was my thing. The dinosaur, and then honestly, I didn't remember the neutrinos and the punk frogs, which were technically collectibles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I don't
Um,
remember those either.
I think that was probably really late season Turtles, and I just,
I think those
was
were
it
comic book
or
like
comic book?
era
Yeah,
turtles, but they were in the show too, right?
I
So
thought,
you got to
yeah,
know them in like the original like 1980s, 1990s, whatever that was. They were in that show as well. I think the dinosaurs were all part of that like Universe X or whatever it was, like the
Dimension
alternate,
X.
yeah, Dimension X, when you
Yeah.
had like where Krang was from and all of that. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure
Oh.
that's their area, and they fought some and they teamed up with some in that area, and then the frogs were like another set of like turtle people almost. They were also oozed, I believe, but I think they were California, and I think that's why they were surfer bros. It's like they were from California instead of New York.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the neutrinos and dinosaur stuff. Yeah, you are correct. I'm pretty sure from Dimension X, where the punk frogs are yeah another like, but like Earth. They didn't come from some Dimension X thing, but yeah, I honestly didn't really remember them at all. But again, like I said, it's probably been 25, 30
It's
years
been
since I've
so
watched the
long.
show. So
Right.
Decades.
I've
But I
watched the
mean,
live action movies more recently than I have the old cartoon.
it still was incredibly fun. Like I've been out of Ninja Turtles for a long time, but I mean, even I had stuff that was recognizable in there. Like it was still really, really iconic. They nailed it on both a visual and like on a presentation level. They absolutely nailed it. Like between like the soundtracks, which by the way, holy shit, some of those soundtracks in that game were absolutely amazing. There are
Yeah,
a couple of like really good hip hop tracks that were in there that I was like, oh my god, like this is actually really really good.
the soundtrack slaps. It's awesome. It's yeah. I again like I love that we pick these games, and most of the time when we pick a book club game, they all have fantastic soundtracks. So I love that almost every episode we're in here, we're just excited about the soundtrack. But
Are
yeah,
you
I was
trying to
listening.
say that the rap song in this one was better than Vanilla Ice's Go Ninja?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not going to throw myself on that cross, but I'm just saying that this game had some really good hip hop tracks.
Oh, 100%.
Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was really fun to be able to beat up a shitload of everything to some of these really
yeah.
banger soundtrack. I really liked it. Other than that, the story of the game, I
It was
mean,
very
it's
basic, but
it's
I mean
very
that's
basic. Yeah, it's an arcade game. Like it's
yeah.
not really like super like this isn't Stray. You're not going to get some like deep narrative thing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cute. That's what I would say. It's cute.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
kind
that,
of classic Turtles.
yeah, they're just taking over the Statue of Liberty. You got, you got Shredder who's doing his thing, Krang is doing his thing, and
You're
yeah.
just
Yeah, it
working
seemed like it
through
was
trying to
just
stop.
it
Go
seemed like
ahead.
it was just they were trying to rebuild Krang, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
constantly chasing after somebody stealing a bit of Krang and running away until he's rebuilt, and then pandemonium.
And that was the
Mhm.
whole like that was the twist, right? They lured you into Dimension X. You're fighting off, Krang and all the foot, and then you go find out that they were distracting you from creating the Statue of Tyranny, right?
Right. And then you have to fight Shredder and the Statue of Tyranny at the end. Which
Mm-hmm.
that was a pretty okay fight. Although I did think that like the Shredder fight at the end was definitely easier than a lot of the other fights leading up to it. Like some of the boss fights I felt like were legitimately way harder than the Shredder fight.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys felt the same way.
maybe it was just because it was back to back boss fights technically, because it was Statue of Tyranny,
Yeah,
right, and a Shredder. Maybe they were just kind of like, we
right.
can't make both of these like crazy hard. Maybe in arcade, they're by that point you have maybe one life or no life left, and then you're sweating a little bit. Will I make it?
Yeah, I can't remember what fight we ended up having the most. Like, we didn't really lose on any of the fights, but I can't remember one of the ones that we had. I think the most trouble with was, oh, it was one of the boss fights where you had the duo characters.
Hmm. Probably Toka and Razor, or no?
Yeah, I
Was
think
it the
that
weasel and the?
I say maybe was it Ground Chuck and Dirtbag? Those the dude that could have been. I know that was one
that
with the dude
might
that
have
popped up with a shovel a bunch.
no.
That was
Yeah,
kind of frustrating.
I think it was Toka and Razor. I think that was probably the one that we had the most trouble with, just because like if one of us got knocked down or something, it
Hmm.
was almost impossible to get us back up.
Yeah,
Like, there was so much damage flying around the board. It was just like we couldn't. You're just like, yeah, you're dead.
yeah.
You're gonna take a life.
Yeah, that was definitely the boss fights. It was hard to pick people back up. Yeah, a little less hard when there's four of you there, but that usually there's a lot of little attacks and AOE things going on that make it a little tough. I
Right.
imagine more so with two people. So
And I mean, it's not like the board is super big, right?
yeah.
You don't have a lot of arena to work with, so anything happens on that board, you're just kind of okay. I'm probably gonna get hit by something.
Hmm. I think I don't want to say it was tough, but Chrome Dome that was just a longer fight, even with being able to throw the foot dude at you know when you throw it at the screen, grab it and throw it at the screen. I felt that took a little longer than some of the other fights. Maybe that's
hmm
just me.
I felt like that one and the Shredder fight because they had those invincible phases, like where you just
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
to dodge. I think that's where those took longer, and it was a heck of a lot easier with four people than it
Hmm.
was with two people,
Right.
for sure.
You
Yeah.
can just blitz out like a ton of damage in
Yep.
between those invulnerability phases. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean, I guess we can get into some of the combat. Which I mean,
Or just the mechanics in general.
yeah. Like I guess this is where like again I didn't pay for this game, so to me it was worth every cent. It was on Game Pass. Game Pass. But like if I spent 20
Cha-ching!
if I spent $25 on this, I do feel like it should be a little cheaper. It's definitely due to the length and really I played three different characters and there's only slight differences with them in how they play in combat. But like the majority of what you're doing is pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
It really is just their probably I guess special attack, right? That's probably the most different than
hmm
between the different characters.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it seems like. You know. So I don't think, like, as far as replayability, it's one of those, like, you kind of take it as it is. You
Yeah.
know exactly if you're kind of into these sort of, like Streets of Rage and other TMNT like beat 'em up games, like it's a shoe in for you. Like, you're gonna love it, and you're probably going to play it quite a few times. I don't know if I'm gonna be playing it anymore now that it's not for, like, now that we kind of got the book club done. I don't
Yeah.
know. I might, like, it's a nice game in that, it's one of those you can just play for like 5 minutes and feel like you've done something kind of
Hmm.
games, which is really cool. But yeah, it's not an there's not enough. It's really really hard to say because, like, so for the price point of it being about $25, it's like it feels really short, but the soundtrack is great. But there isn't a lot of variety between the characters, but the boss fights are really good and the mechanics are not too, like, it's not too
Hmm.
restrictive.
Yeah. Let's throw out two. This seems to be a studio that respected its IP, which a lot of
Oh my
studios aren't
god.
doing
Yeah.
anymore. Like they
Absolutely.
literally
Yeah.
I watched a couple of their little dev videos prior to the game coming out, and I was like, okay, this sounds just like, just some BS from a studio before their game comes out. All they did was talk about like how they'd like go back and watch the show and they're trying to do everything they can to be as faithful. And then you play it and you're like, shit, yeah. I mean, it
Like
looks
they
great. It
right.
sounds great. They clearly did their research with enemies and bosses, and it was overall fun. And it really felt they respected the IP, and it was a fantastic feeling and a lot of fun to play through.
Right. I mean, they took the IP and they didn't just make some sort of like kind of bolted together Turtles experience. Like, it really feels like an authentic arcade game.
Hmm.
And that's like, and I think that honestly is a really, really good thing in that they're really truly, and especially as you get into games that are becoming way more complex and way bigger and the budgets are getting ridiculously huge and
Hmm.
everything they're trying to shove into a game, like with like crazy mocap and high paid voice actors and stuff like that. This
Yeah.
game is so boiled down to just like, it's just supposed to be a fun game. And I feel like that was so refreshing to play in just in terms of gaming in general. I mean, like we have a lot of fun games on this book club, but like because this game was just so simple, you really could just engage with the game itself.
Yeah.
Like you're not looking for like, like the deepest story or anything like that. You're really just you're diving in and you're beating up a bunch of dudes and you're having some fun with friends if you're playing with any and killing bosses. Like it's just fun. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about it is that it's just going back to just what makes this game really fun.
Yep. Playing the game just because it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, you just play it because it's actually a fun game to play.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's I gotta hand it to him in that, but like yeah, like I said, like the $25 price tag is like I think it's really really good, but also I
Hmm.
feel like it like maybe like I would probably feel a little less like eerie about it if it was like $20. I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's.
It's really really hard to say because I definitely feel like it was like I had a lot of fun with this, but
Hmm.
did I have $25 worth of fun? I don't know. I blasted, yeah. My wife and I blasted through this in like 2.5 hours. So I was like, okay, not quite a movie's worth of
Yeah.
entertainment, but there was a
No.
lot of production in it, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah. And it's again. I guess I'm coming from. I got on Game Pass, so I didn't spend the money. But
Sure, yeah.
um,
If you got Game Pass, go play the hell out of this game. Like, highly encourage you go play it.
yeah. No, it's just. I think if I would have spent like. I'd say this is like a $10 or $15. It's the hard part is just because the combat and the characters aren't they're very kind of shallow, which again I don't think is a bad thing, but it's just
Yeah,
it's not like
it's really
like
simple. Yeah,
I'm not really itching to go back and play and level up each character because their specials are fun. And I think I played April, Leo, and who was the third one? Was Mikey maybe? No, I forget. Anyways, and one of the other turtles, and like their specials are fun, but like they're not that different. They're not going to change the way you play the game. It's not just this big game. So to me, it's not like, well, I'm going to go grind out every character, right? You know,
yeah,
um, so
yeah.
I could see there if you spent $25, it might not feel like money well spent, but I don't know. It's just such a great
Yeah,
game.
it's really hard to say it. I feel like $15 I would totally buy this again. $20 I'm kind of getting into that like this seems fair, but it seems a little on the high side. 25 I feel like I feel like the price tag is a little bit high, but I feel like if you're on Game Pass, uh, you have no excuse not to play this. Like it's
Yeah.
that good. Yeah, like you can beat the game in 2 to 3 hours, and you can have a lot of fun doing it. I think so. It's worth
Do it
it,
with friends too, by the way,
and
because
do it with
that's
friends. Yeah, play
I
it with people.
I think I played a level or two by myself, and yeah, it was fun, but it was just more fun to get the two, three, four people in and just sit there and just beat up on the Foot Clan and all the different bosses. It was just a good time.
Yeah, and I feel like this would be a really fun game if like you're having a party at like at your house or something like that. You just like set this up on like a TV and just let people kind of swap in and out, drop in and out, and play with each other like that. Like that'd be like this is a perfect game for a setting like that, like a fun
Hmm.
couchy co-op, like everybody's just kind of having fun kind of a thing. Because again,
Yeah,
yeah, it's casual fun, and that's a good like I think that's also really really good. Like there
yeah,
are places for hardcore gamers and things like that, but I feel like any kind of gamer, whether you're hardcore, casual, whatever, is could find fun in something like this.
yeah. No, it's if you got Game Pass, you got or it comes down to $10 or $15, pick it up, have fun, because that's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah, you're just
How
gonna
many
have
times
fun.
do we want to? How many
And
times
that's
are we
the
gonna say
thing.
it?
Right, and
Go
that's the
play.
thing with like with video games nowadays. Like sometimes you just kind of feel like all they do is just kind of lose the fact that games are kind of supposed to be fun. Like that's why you play games, right? Is to entertain yourself and to have fun.
Hmm.
You don't have to have like some deep introspective narrative. You don't have to have like crazy esport level mechanics or anything like that. Like where the hell is the fun, man? Like just make the game fun.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
want from a lot of games. Like a lot of video games nowadays are kind of shying away from that. It's either like
Mhm.
about grinds and crazy progression systems and yeah, deep introspective narratives and it just
Yeah.
the fun kind of gets lost in all of the sea of like over design and over engineering when it's like yeah, this game is gonna like I hope this game succeeds even more because it's just fun.
I think if I remember, only a few weeks after it releasing, they sold like 1,000,000 copies or something. So I think it's
Wow.
doing pretty good.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah. No, I mean, to your point though, like I'm so glad they didn't try to like bog this down with some insane combo or skill tree combo sets or
Right.
skill trees or
Or
something.
like a ridiculous progression system. Like there's not even really
Hmm.
like there's unlocks in the game, but there's not really a progression system. Like you can unlock skills by I guess quote leveling up your
Yeah.
characters, but
You have
that's
10
it.
levels. Yeah, you have 10 levels to each character. And again, like a lot of the other stuff, it helps out a little bit. A little you can store up to 3 specials once you unlock enough. You get like an extra life, you get a little extra health bar, but it's not like some crazy game changer. Again, it's not like, oh, well, for you to be, well, maybe in arcade mode or something, but like it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, I need to grind this out and level them up so I can actually beat the game or anything. Like, no, you can literally just keep hitting. You could probably hit X through the whole game, having a good time, not really worrying about some of the special move stuff. It's yeah. And the other thing where I think I hope there's some sort of like DLC planned or something, or it's hard to say this, but like some sort of cosmetics, maybe that they'll add in at some point.
Oh,
Like
sure.
for unlockables, not a lot, nothing crazy. Hopefully not, like, but like it would be cool to like have like it'd be really neat if like they put some of the other turtles throughout the years, some of the live action or some of the other cartoon or different like the samurai outfits or something from like the third movie, right? Or
Oh,
maybe
sure.
some of the more recent like 3D character looking turtles as like some unlockables, something simple, nothing crazy. But I was sitting there, oh, it'd be pretty cool, like if you could do a skin here or there, but nothing crazy like other games are doing now. That would be awful.
Right, but more I guess more tie-ins to other parts of the source material.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
thought
think that'd be
I
cool.
I thought
And
it'd be
not
cool if
and
they,
don't put microtransactions and do that, please.
yeah,
Just like I said, just keep this game simple. It works because it's so simple.
yeah. No, any more like levels or stuff that they could do for DLC. Again, simple, just different costumes would be fun. Like I think it'd be cool if they like. I know it's a 2D like sprite pixelated like game,
Yeah.
but it'd be cool if they like if they. I mean, they could still use sprites technically, but like do like 3D modeling of like the turtles from the movie or something like that, and put them in there as a sprite. So it'd be like that kind of like that kind of pixel art like the old school look, but then you have this kind of like 3D turtle that's fighting through, again, just little
Like
goofy
a
things
like
like
a
that.
Clay Fighters looking thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what game did something similar, had a similar type look,
Yeah,
but yeah,
like
again,
a Killer Instinct. I think like
yeah,
the old Killer Instinct did something like that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it get little fun things like that would be really neat if they put stuff in there, if they continue to support this in any way. But yeah, hopefully
Mhm.
they don't like bog it down with crazy microtransactions or crap like that. No, like
Yeah. I don't think they need to like yeah, this game on its own merit is just good.
yeah.
And it doesn't need to be tarnished with any sort of like, any goofy mechanics that are going to have to they're going to have to siphon your wallet
Hmm.
to pay for this game because it sounds like the game is already paid for itself. I mean, it's
Probably.
not like, with like a 2D sprite game. I mean, I can't imagine that this was too hard for a lot of people in nowadays with now technology to be able to build this in a pretty quick fashion.
Hmm.
Which again, like I feel like just kind of speaks volumes that like, maybe it really is time for gaming to just kind of dial back on how much it's trying to push and focus again on kind of what made the games fun. I mean, we see things like Vampire Survivors or something like that is took off. Like that game took off on Steam. and it is so simple. It is just a bullet hell game. It's basically a bullet hell game slash roguelike. And
Hmm.
it is amazing how entertaining that game actually is. Like, I sunk a crazy amount of hours into it, and it's not deep. There's not really any story to it. It was just fun. And that's the best part about it, is that it was just a simple little, it was a 2D tile game made by like one guy, and he just made it fun.
Yeah.
He just made it fun with some really cool mechanics that scale up, and then you get those crazy, like, you have like, thousands of enemies on screen that are just getting annihilated from your crazy abilities that are just shooting out everywhere, and it's crazy cool.
Yeah. No, I'd be totally fine for games to just go back to trying to be fun instead of trying to keep your attention 24/7 or wring you from every last dollar that you have.
Mhm.
I don't know if that'll happen in the future, but like with that the games industry as a whole, but I do like these games that come through like Turtles where it's just, as we've said 1800 times, it's fun. It's just fun. And it's a great playthrough. Yeah.
Yeah. It was an amazing playthrough, and I'm glad that we decided to pick this up for this month's book club.
Yeah. It was fun.
Like, I needed an excuse, but I mean, it was handy to be able to play this for,
I
and
would
be
like
able
to
to
give
talk about it.
I would like to give us all a pat on the back because I think when we were
Well
doing the
done,
more regular
us.
weekly episodes, we talk about games and be like, this would be a fun book club, but we rarely ever play it. It will just, oh, this looks like it'd be a fun book club when it comes out or something like that. Well, we'd been saying that about this game. And then it came out and we're like, shit, yeah, we're
Let's
playing
just
this for the
let's
book
just
club.
get on it. Yeah, we wanted to play it right now. It reminds me of, like, I think it was last year, it was The Ascent. We
Yep.
were talking about doing The Ascent, and
Oh, yeah.
we were like, "Oh my god, this looks so cool. We could co-op this. We should totally do this for a book." Never ever touched. We still
I,
did to this day haven't touched it. And it's not going to be next month's book club either.
It's not. It's not. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a great example because we saw that at a bunch of the like the E3 and the showcases and the Game Awards or whatever, wherever they showed it. We're like, this game looks fun. We should play it for book club. This game looks fun, and it came out. It was funny. I was actually reminded
Mhm.
of it the other day. I was flipping through Game Pass. I'm like, oh, The Ascent. Yeah, we never played
Oh
that.
yeah, we never played that. I did the same thing too. I was looking for, like, because I think, yeah, it was my pick for the month of August, and I was just like, what should we play? This
Mhm.
is oh yeah, The Ascent. Yeah, we're not gonna play it this month, but we could definitely do it later.
Yeah, maybe a
Someday.
future book club
Someday.
will play it.
Yeah, someday we'll get around to it. I'm
I
more
guess
looking
so.
forward to I'm kind of interested to see what we're gonna do for the this year's Halloween
Yeah,
pick. Yeah.
yeah,
I
we'll
think
have
there's
to
a
think
couple of
about
really
that.
good horror games that are coming out.
Yeah, we'll just play a Resident Evil Reverse, but.
Oh
Uh,
god.
before we kind of end up here, I did want to throw out real quick. We've talked about a bunch of how fun this game is, but one thing we failed to mention is all the playable characters. Obviously,
Right.
Mikey, Raph, Donnie, Leo, obviously, right?
Right.
But you have a couple other characters you can play as April O'Neil. You
Yep.
can play as Master Splinter, and
Yep.
once you beat the game, you unlock Casey Jones. So the
Yep.
total of 7 playable characters. A lot of fun. Obviously, room
Yes.
there in the future to add more. I mean, heck, they could even add the what are the punk frogs in there
The
if they
Punk
felt like it.
Frogs, yeah.
Yeah, but
That'd be kind of funny if those were like a secret unlockable or something like that.
yeah, no, it's yeah. Again, there's a lot of room to add a bunch of cool characters if they ever revisit. I'd say if they do add more characters, they probably want to add more levels. So hope
Yeah.
like a DLC or something like
Don't
that.
they,
With
like, there are secret levels in the game though, aren't there?
are there? I guess
I
I
think
didn't look.
so. Well, like, cuz I remember when one of the things that Heather and I did is we early on there was uh you go through, I think, Ima's apartment or something like
Irma?
that.
Oh, Irma.
Irma, yeah. Why did I think Ima? Irma's apartment, and then I think that's how we ended up on the level where we were chasing down um uh Rocksteady, and they were in the big, like, monster truck. Did you
Yeah,
do that?
yeah.
Was
No,
That
it's
wasn't the
that.
normal level, was it?
No, that was.
Oh,
So
okay.
so I guess we could talk at least. Well, we could talk about Irma and so in the game. the different characters we mentioned with like the punk frogs and neutrinos. I just forget. Feel like I'm messing that up. Anyways, the alien things. You also find Irma, Vern, and is it what was his name? Burn, yeah, Burn Thompson. They're just they're kind of collectibles essentially, right? And then they
Yeah.
serve as, so like Irma, she lost a bunch of diaries. So throughout the different levels, you just collect some of her diaries. So she's kind of just a collectible herself along with her lost diaries. But as far as I know, in just a 2-second Google search here, I don't see anything for any secret levels.
Oh, okay.
But
I could
I
have.
mean, again,
I thought there was going to be like branching paths or things like that
yeah,
with some of
no,
these levels, kind of like a, like a Super Mario 3 kind of vibe.
hmm
Is what I
well,
was
there
getting from it.
the other little nodes that maybe you didn't visit and you're getting that impression from, did you so once you find like Irma and Vern and Burn and the frogs and stuff, they have a little node on the map that if you go to them, they just sit there and say, hey, go find, like the frogs are like, go find bugs or something, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
those are little offshoot nodes, so maybe that's where you were kind of getting that impression that there were secret levels.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. No, they just serve as collectibles, and if you collect everything, you just get some experience. And again, that just goes towards leveling up. What is it? What I say? There's 10 levels to a character, and
Yeah.
again, it just unlocking things like an extra bar of health or an extra life or something like that.
Extra
So,
attacks too, like extra
yeah,
specials.
the era like air attack, yeah, and if you get the specials up to level 3, you can kind of go into, I don't know what ninja mode or something. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know what they call that.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't. Then I guess there is no secret levels. Though I think that would be cool if they added some.
Secret levels,
Like,
more,
especially
yeah.
for beating some of those challenges, because there's a challenge system in the game that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, some of those are pretty tough. I
Yeah.
mean, we some of them you're just kind of, as you play through it, you unlocked it, like most challenges. But a few of them were like I think the first mission is like, don't get hit, and you're like, what? Like,
Yeah. It did take no damage. And I was like, well,
yeah,
we already failed that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
there's
I
some
mean,
that are
did you,
kind of like
is it
there's
just for
some.
achievements that you do those?
I think I
Or do you
think
actually
those
get something for it?
I think the challenges add to like that the points to unlock your levels for your character.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah,
boring.
I'm sure there's achievements tied to it. I mean, there's achievements for
There
everything
is.
anymore.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure there is.
yeah. But yeah, I didn't really go out of my way to do any challenges again, because you're just there having fun, beating up the foot and talking crap to your, in my case, my siblings and their friends, and like, yeah, it was just a,
Yeah,
yeah,
just a fun time.
I wasn't going in there like, yeah, I'm gonna unlock all the challenges. If it happened, it happened, right?
No, don't lie. You got so pissed off every time somebody took damage because you couldn't get the, take no damage challenge finished. You were like, oh, how could you be so bad at this game?
I was actually mad, not really mad, but we were at one of the rooftop levels. It, like, one of the challenges is just have, nobody fall off the roof. And we're
Oh,
like towards
really?
the end, I'm like, oh, I think we're gonna get this. And then my brother and his friend they go to jump across the from one roof to another, and they both go down. I'm like, what the hell? Down, guys. It's not that hard to jump over. Like, it's not one of those games where like it's like some crazy challenging jump. It's just part of the level, right? You just kind of jump over it, right? Whatever. Who cares?
Sure.
Jumping
sure.
is not easy. I don't care what game you're
He's
playing.
back. Spoiler for
Way to
those
play it
listening.
cool, Matt. Way to play it cool.
We lost Mike for what, last 10 minutes, I think. So,
Yeah,
but
I
we're
don't know what
glad you're
happened.
back. Yeah.
But hey, that news and interesting is gone.
Oh, there you go.
Way
There
to
you
go.
You fixed your computer.
So, Mike, we've talked about most of the things pretty much at length. Did you have anything to say as far as like the gameplay? I think one of the things. One of the things I did want to mention in terms of the gameplay was some of the mechanics got a little wonky at times, like especially for like aerial units, like trying to jump and attack
Mhm.
some of the like the flying robots and flying things was kind of rough.
Oh, on those surfboards, like those jet boards, trying to jump those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was pretty much use your special and kill everything on the board. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I found the best solution to that was if you hit the jump button and the X, the basic attack, at the same time you do like an upper attack. And I
Mhm.
would just, in those levels, especially with the flying things, that's all I would do. I'd just jump around and I usually didn't have any problems. I think the biggest issue there is not. It didn't seem like every unit had some sort of. I know it'd be goofy because you're flying and stuff like that, but some ground level like shadow or something to indicate like when you're moving your character, which was lower on the map
Yep.
or the level, you could move over and then hey, I'm under this, right? It really pissed me off with the flying level when you weren't in your blimp, but you saw it in the background, the Statue of Liberty, and you're on your little whatever flying skateboards or whatever. Is the pizzas that annoyed me? They didn't have shadows, and there's times where I thought I was lining it up. Pizzas, by the way, gave you health in the level,
Yep.
and I was like, oh, here comes a pizza. I need some health. And I thought I'd line up with it. And then like I'd jump or move around and I'd never get it. I'm like, what the hell? Like I thought I was lined up to get this. Nope. I guess I wasn't at the right, whatever level in the game, Z position in the game to grab it. So yeah, that was, but I never really struggled with it once I kind of started doing the jump and attack at the same time. But those pizzas were annoying.
Yeah, I did the if you hit jump twice, you kind of do like that, like sort of a double jump, and then
Yeah.
you can mash the attack button, and you basically just attack as you're falling from your
Mm-hmm.
jump. That's what I did most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I was saying before I dropped off, like this is when I noticed that I crashed out because nobody replied, was basically just the idea that, we were talking about loving all the characters and all the things that came up and all the awesomeness. It felt good to the IP. At the same time, it was a solid game without it. Like if you stripped away all of the Turtles stuff to it, like 90% of this game, I'd say was a good game. Like I didn't feel like, oh my god, they made a Turtles game and it's just Turtles for nostalgia. The rest of the game sucks.
Yeah.
Like to have a nostalgia game that actually plays well
Mhm.
as well was just really nice, like a breath of fresh air to have.
Yeah, yeah, that was something that Matt and I were kind of talking about, was that one of the greatest things about this game was just in general its simplicity, and how it really just boiled, like the whole game really focused on the fun part of the game and making sure that the player has fun. Like they weren't trying to get cute with any crazy mechanics or weird progression systems or anything like that. Like it was really just let them have fun beating the hell out of, Foot Clan and everything else. Like that is the focus. Have fun. And
Mhm.
I think that the fact that it was so simple, that the game is so simplistic, allows them to just really let the fun kind of, rise up from everything else.
Yeah. No, the sim. Yeah. Just by saying it's simple, we don't mean that. Like that's not a bad thing, right?
No, like
You,
simplicity,
yeah.
there's beauty in simplicity, and this
Yeah.
game shows a lot of it.
And even we've mentioned like the shortness of the game and that the combo system and the controls and stuff aren't like anything crazy. Again, I don't think those are bad things. In the only time I'd say it's bad, and we've mentioned this, is the fact that like it did seem like the game is a little pricier for what you get type thing, right?
Right.
That's the only time I'd say that's a bad thing, that it's short. It just, bring it down to $15 and it's like, yeah, go drop $15 on this now. It's a great game. You're going to get $15 worth. It's fantastic.
Definitely a
Mhm.
sale title, right? Like if you don't have
Oh,
it on Game
100%.
Yeah.
Pass and you're not really wanting to just get in and play it, because if you like Turtles, and you like beat 'em ups, just buy it, right? Get it now.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the sale. But if you're like, ooh, this looks good, I really want to play it, but this is a little out of my pocket budget, there's gonna be a sale. This game is gonna do really well for a while, and then there's gonna be a massive sale, and it's just gonna skyrocket back into purchase.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah, once like a Steam sale hits, 100% buy this game.
Or the best thing, you all have Game Pass, right, dear listeners? You go just download it and play it for free. Well, not for free, part of your subscription. So
Yes.
yeah, our listeners better all have Game Pass at this point.
And I mean, most of our games that we play are on Game Pass.
Well,
I think
in
there's
all
only been a
fairness,
small handful.
you have Game Pass, but you did buy this on Steam. So.
I did buy it on Steam. Yes. Yeah. Which, funny enough, is because it was on sale.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like $4 off or something like that. So I was like, I want this in my library.
So you're sitting here complaining that it was $25 and you only spent $21 on it.
I did, yes.
Jeez.
Yes. But then I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's still kind of high price for even for this.
Yeah. Yep. But
Anyway.
yeah, any other last thoughts from you, Mike? Since you were gone for a short bit, any other
No,
points you
not.
were
I
looking to
mean,
make?
other than the game was a ton of fun. On the dad side of the world, you can play this with 5, 6, 7 year olds, and they'll be able to. One, you'll be able to hang out long enough to keep them alive, so that it's not just gonna be them dying and you playing the game. And two, it's a load of fun. Like my son he asks every other day if we can play Turtles, and he's not even a huge Turtle fan to start with, but now he's on to the TV shows and any other thing he can get his hands on for Turtles. So
He is
Yep.
about to become like a huge Turtles fan.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Just don't tell your, what was it, 7, 8-year-old to press the, what was it, left bumper?
The party time,
Oh god.
pizza time.
He's party time, and I'm in the middle of fighting like 9 dudes, and I'm like, buddy, you gotta stop, you gotta help me, otherwise I'm gonna get nope. And then like I get knocked out. He's like, oh, I'll give you pizza. I'm like, no, just stay in your corner because you're about to get it now. He comes in, jumps in, we both die. I'm like, okay, well, we'll, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
So from the parent angle, it's definitely parent approved.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and there's very little reading. There's a ton of characters to pick from. Did we mention that April got that fat butt?
Ooh, no,
We did
didn't.
not, but go ahead.
So there's April O'Neil. Did you talk about other characters? Like, did you get into
Yep.
Casey or anything like that? Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's Splinter. Is a ton of fun too. You can get, if you beat the Rat King with him, we found out you get an achievement, so that was pretty
Mhm.
cool. Lots of characters for kids to enjoy, I thought.
I really enjoyed playing as April, but not because that fat ass, but I liked her special move a little better, right? Like Leo, obviously Leo's the best character in TMNT just in general, but when his special attack, he just stays there. He's static with his area attack. April takes a camera and swings it around, and it's long enough and you don't stay in still. You can move it a little bit that you can kind of cover a small area. I found that to be pretty helpful compared to Leo's special attack.
I was kind of annoyed that Casey Jones' special attack is basically Leonardo's attack. I was like, they could have given me something else.
Yeah.
Only gripe. Otherwise, the rest is good.
Cool. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this month's episode of the Book Club.
Yep.
Matt, Mike, thank you both very much for joining me. Sorry we couldn't play this one together, unfortunately, but
I only kind of joined. Like, I started, I said hey, and then I left for a little bit.
you're still here. It's still
got some nachos and was like,
the teacher checked you in and you got your attendance credit, so
Yeah.
nice.
so it's all good. All right. Well, this has been a really good episode. This was a lot of fun to play, and I think this was a lot of fun to talk about too. I'm really excited for our next game. So the one that I picked, which was Tunic. So next month, the month of August will be Tunic. So if you're interested in playing Tunic and talking about Tunic with us, you can head over to campfiregamingpodcast.com and hit the link to our Discord. You can also find out what we're talking about if we are, maybe sharing clips or if we're sharing screenshots or something like that while we're doing the playthroughs. You can catch us on Twitter at CampGamePod. And be sure that if you are joining us on one of your favorite platforms to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we will see you next time around the campfire.